clear. Alright, so I'm Ogre with Gaming in Progress, and today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video for the CAA Nylon Polymer King Arms M4 Carbine. Now this is from evike.com. My teammate Aries ordered it. Had it shipped to my house because he's currently in college right now and probably wouldn't be a good idea to have an airsoft gun shipped to him. So as you can see, this side we got the CAA logo. A little bit of art on this side. So, of course, you get the normal user's manual, which I'm not going to read because I'm fairly experienced with airsoft guns. However, if you are new to the sport, which this gun is marketed to newer players, I would highly suggest reading this. He also ordered a Mad Bull 363mm Type bore barrel, which I'm not going to be discussing in this video. I'm going to be discussing in a later video. But basically, it's supposed to give you better groupings and better accuracy with your airsoft gun, as well as maybe bump up the FPS by 5 or 10 FPS. So, got a little bag of parts here. This is for installing the rail kit that comes on this with this M4. And you get a 140 round mid cap as well as a speed loader. So now the mid cap is just, your fairly middle of the road mid cap. It's plastic. However, the polymer does feel inferior to a few other mid capacity magazines I've used. So this will get you started off, but I would not recommend using this in the long term. I'd suggest investing in something a little better like a KWA mid cap, which actually a guy that I know on this airsoft forum who plays in Michigan a lot has actually done an excellent review on the KWA mid caps, which I'll be switching to here very shortly. And they're fairly cheap. They're a little bit more expensive than mag brand mid caps, which is what I currently run right now, but they are durable and work just as well, if not better, than the mag brand mid caps. So I'll leave a link to that video in an annotation here. Now we get to the gun. As you can see, it has the CAA trademarks on it, which is a real steel company that has lent their design to King Arms. Now, King Arms, they can be a pretty middle-of-the-road to high-end brand. This gun sells for about $150 when it's on sale. Aries got it for about $115 as opposed to $150, so it's right in the price range of the G&G Combat Machine, which is also made as polymer. But this polymer feels a little bit more sturdy than the G&G polymer I've come across. This gun, despite being completely polymer, while the G&G Combat Machine does have a few metal parts, this gun is slightly heavier. So that I would say that's either they use a more reliable or heavy metal in the gearbox, or the polymer they used is heavier and more durable. By the way this feels, I would suggest the latter. So we'll start by looking at the stock and go our way through the entire gun. You get your standard retractable stock. It's CAA trademarked, and as you can see, has a single sling for or sling mount for a 1-point sling. You cannot run a 2-point sling on this gun unless you want to get a aftermarket kit for it. So on this side you have a rail to attach some sort of pouch or something to the end of the gun. On this side you have a little compartment that can be used for storing batteries or just little things like Allen key wrenches, just whatever you need there. It's pretty solid. It's not going to come out in the game. In game, you could probably even put a dead rag in there. So now covered stock. We'll cover the buffer tube. Now, as you can see, the buffer tube does have a little bit of wobble to it. It is not metal, and from what I can tell, there is no way to tighten it. The only thing that suggests you might be able to tighten it is you can remove the stock, and it has a little screw right around there, which I'm hoping you can use to take the back plate off and then put a screwdriver down here and tighten the screw that connects this to the stock, which is about how 90% of stock, airsoft stocks work. But if this was a full metal stock or full metal buffer tube, I don't think you'd be having those problems. Alright, so it does have a little bit of wiggle in it, but it's not anything that's going to affect your gun. It will get annoying after a while though, and could possibly, after a few months of use, just come completely loose, and then you'd have to reattach it. So, charging handle works the way it does in every airsoft gun. You pull it back and it reveals the hop-up chamber. Hop-up chamber is a one-piece hop-up chamber, so if you're looking for upgrade parts, you want to make sure they're a one-piece hop-up chamber. So those would be your Pro Wins and a few other aftermarket hop-up chambers. So it's not going to be a two-piece chamber like the KWA guns or some of the Echo 1 or JG models I've seen. So it uses the exact same hop-up chamber as the G&G combat machine, or at least the exact same style. Now the receiver is polymer. It's nice and thick. I have not had any problems with it whatsoever yet, because before this video I took the gun out and played around with it a little bit to see how sturdy it was. So now you move to the handguard. Now this is a front wired gun, and this is one of the cooler features of the gun, is that the battery is carried in the handguard. Now, you don't see that on many guns that have a rail system in the front handguard area that allows you to have a battery there. Now, however, you do need a special battery for this gun, which I'll link in the description. But it can house a battery, or if you're already buying this gun and have your own batteries that will not fit into the handguard, you can run a PEC box on the outside, and the gun has holes right there on each side of the handguard where you can run your wire out there and into the PEC box. Your battery's completely fine. Or if you're wiring your batteries long enough, you can run it from the PEC box into the inside and just hook up in there. I'll give a link to one of those in the description as well. So your standard 9.6 volt batteries will not fit in this handguard, beware. I messed around with a butterfly type 9.6 and I could not get it to fit for the life of me. So there's little to no barrel wobble, and if the barrel does start to wobble, you take this apart and there is an Allen key adjustment right on the outside of the barrel. However, be warned, it is not the Allen key that comes with the gun. You're going to want to get your own Allen key set for this, and all you do is just tighten that back and fixes your barrel wobble. Because after about a day and a half of messing around with this, I did notice that the barrel started to get loose. So, but that was me purposely checking for faults in the gun. If you're just buy this out of a box and you don't do anything to the handguard other than put batteries in and out, then you're fine. Now, in order to get at the battery compartment with the handguard, you pull the delta ring down like you do in most airsoft gun models, and it comes right out. The top part comes out as well. However, when the rail system is attached to this gun, the bottom of the handguard will not come out. So, in order to install the battery, you will take off the top handguard and put the battery in through the top instead, as most people tend to remove the bottom and put the battery in. So then moving to the barrel. The barrel is polymer as well. It would have been nice to have a metal barrel. You probably wouldn't have the issues with the barrel wobbles that I encountered earlier. But like I said, if you're not abusing your gun too hard, you will not find that issue, and if you do, it is a quick fix. Now, for the next part of this video, I will be showing you how to install the rail system on this gun. Alright, so you got your bag of rail parts here. So, in order to install these, two parts you're going to want to take out. You're going to want to take the rails and the screws. Now these screws are adjusted via Allen key, which comes in the package. Now, I have an Allen key that will fit this. However, I'm just going, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to use the Allen key that comes with the gun. So, in order to install the rail, you take your bottom rail, you clip it into place. There's a spot on the lower part of the outer barrel that this hook part will clip into, and that lines you up with your screws, or your screw holes right there. So, take your Allen key and you tighten that down. Now, be warned, once you tighten these down, it will not be easy to get the bottom part of the handguard off unless you take off the rails. Once you have this on, then you have the rail space for everything you need. You have rails on the side for flashlight attachments. You have the rails on the bottom. The only thing you don't have is rails on the top, which you're not really going to need, as is you wouldn't be putting an optic that far up like up front anyways. So that's how you install the rails. Now, you have an option for a smaller rail that will go in the same spot, and that would give you your handguard. Now your handguard up until about right there. Then the rest of it would be rail. All right, so this gun will chrono around 370 to 400 FPS. At least that's what Evike says it'll chrono at. I do not have my chrono on hand. However, I'm not going to dispute Evike because normally they're pretty good about chronoing their guns. So the only real gripes I have with this is the stock being loose, and like I said, the issues with the battery. But if you're a newer player, these are marketed towards newer players, so if you're a brand new player and you're buying this gun, you're going to be buying a new battery anyways, so all you need to do is make sure that you're buying the right one. If not, then it gets a little bit annoying as an experienced player, that your batteries will not fit into this gun. But then again, you can buy a PEQ box, which is $15 for a replica PEQ box that'll go right on your rails, and you can stick your battery in there. So other than that, it's not that big of an inconvenience. So I would definitely put this at above or beyond the quality of the combat machines, other than a few small inconveniences. My biggest gripe is actually that the sight that comes stock with it, as the three little sights that you can use. You have a little line sight right there, and you have a moonlight sight, and your standard sight that has a big opening. However, on those sights you can adjust. You can flip them up or flip them down. This one has them all lined straight up, so it can be a little bit of an inconvenience, or it could be a beneficial that you don't have to mess with it. But you'd have to adjust your head to get the right sight picture, and sometimes that can mess up what you're actually seeing. You can adjust for windage and elevation. However, this is a polymer sight, so how accurate those adjustments actually are beyond me. So, overall, I'd recommend either getting a better sight or just upgrading to a red dot right off the bat, and then properly sighting that in. So for a beginner, I would say this is a pretty good gun. So this is Ogre with Gaming in Progress. Hopefully you found this review and unboxing informative and helpful. And if you like this gun, buy it. It does have a unique look to it. It seems high quality for a polymer rifle. And for the beginner or someone who wants to likes to do tech on guns and just build custom guns to begin with, I think this would be a good starting platform. So this is Ogre with Gaming in Progress, and I'm out.